Rise and shine. Salute YouTube. Salute Instagram. And just salute. I'm getting situated. Um, but I'm gonna give some time for YouTube to join the chat. Instagram, you are live to join the chat. I guess this one's gonna be IG. This one's gonna be Sherrod Natural. Sherrod Inc. Got a little multicam thing going on. It is June 2026. And as you know, June is Mental Health Awareness Month. Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And yesterday was actually Father's Day, and I went live. It was interesting, therapeutic, and a few other things. Let's see, how am I going to set this up? It's a discussion that I want to have because of a lot of reasons. Oops. But one of those reasons, this is interesting. Me trying to find somewhere to stand this thing up. How is this angle? Boom. There we go. Boom. God is good. Really? This was charged. No, it's not. All relevant to the conversation. And I find it interesting and amazing that I'm about to try to piece all of this together, but it says a lot. So yeah, I am just gonna go live on that one without the caption. So here we go. Right now we are live on IG, Sherrod Inc., You Are Live Radio, and then YouTube, You Are Live Podcast. You only get the piano angle over here today. Right now I'm playing out loud, acoustically. Well, this is an electric keyboard, piano, synthesizer. But it comes with a story from a storyteller. And that storyteller would be me. A story This color is not giving me what I want. So we're gonna go based off of what it looks like. Red looks hot. I want the darker blue. That green is beautiful. The red is really hitting. All right, but conceptually, blue is the color for this part right here. I love how you can speak through an instrument, period. That is a complete sentence. Men's Health Awareness Month. Bullet point. Sense of accomplishment. Ooh. I just had an epiphany. I just had a revelation. I wonder if I'm able to do that. You are live. And from here, I probably can. When that charges with that last device, can somebody say structures and strategies, solutions? Get my journal out. That's right. Let's do this thing. Mental Health Awareness Month. Mental Health Awareness Month. Today is Monday, June 22nd. 26. And then the time is 8:06 a.m. Shout outs to everybody on time or early for yourself. I said the time was 8:07. So let's get started. what is mental health? Of course, it's important, but why is it important? And can we just dive into it a little more? Um, I can start with myself by asking the essential question: where can black men go to be, just be, exist, and serve life's purpose without being viewed or treated as a threat or a problem? Um, I did a little research. Salute. Wave back. What's up? What's up? Try to make sure I keep it engaged. Stay engaged with you all as you show love and enter the chat. I did some research and we can get straight to it. For me, the places that I found where I can have an outlet uh, is the barbershop. Shout outs to Sherrod Natural. Church. Shout outs to right now Lighthouse Church with Pastor Keon Henderson. And there is currently another pastor I'm listening to online whose name I don't know off top. But let me see if I could find it really quick because he deserves some love. Uh, uh, well, we'll get back to it. Mm, come on. Okay, here we go. Evolve Church. And the pastors, for right now, I can't find it, but he's great. Um, so barbershop, church, for me, drum circle. Um, the studio. You might need to rent a studio to have your outlet. There may not be a place already in existence that you might have to create. Salute, thank you for joining. Um, and then the gym. Uh, then nature. There's always the park or the beach. It could be a city too, so I can write the city. Well, nature is not the city. Like the city is the city, but we could say outside. Or give nature its own bullet point, and then just say outside slash city for the places that are not serene nature. I am multitasking right now, sitting at a keyboard, a day after Father's Day, in the month of June of Men's Health Awareness Month, but in the year of 2026, which is the 50th anniversary of Go Go. For those who know, no. Um, I thank God for a lot right now. I'm very grateful. I am very, very, very grateful. Um, how do I want to do this? Let's start with a song. Hmm. My only thing is I don't want to mess up the live stream with the licensing music where they start muting and blocking because they did that on YouTube. So let's start here. This is where the conversation begins. Multitasking, 8 arms, octopus. This is a meditation, a live meditation. Um, Multitasking. The things in life that we observe and don't acknowledge. Period. That's a complete sentence. For a multitasker, why are they a multitasker? Men's Health Awareness Month, for me, therapy, I realized watching my mom and grandma multitask growing up is a standard for me. Watching them do everything and create world peace and a lot of things in between. But that standard, that format, that structure, um, I thought we had a big family growing up, and then now as an adult, it feels smaller. But we were just young and around a lot of people, so we have a moderately big family. It's easy to feel alone in a big family because there is so many people with a lot of lives and just things going on. Right now in this moment, for self achievement, goal setting, and wanting to get a few things done by the end of today, by the end of this week, by the end of this month. I'm taking a shot at going live right now to just practice that because that's what I want. I've always wanted a live stream. I have been working towards it for just so long. The age, time, and era has actually come fast. Where podcasting and live streaming is actually normal, and I'm actually behind the curve. I would put myself in the category of one of the original content creators. That word was not a word back then. Back then, it was Facebook friends. Salute. It was not content creator and all of this stuff. You have 5,000 friends max on Facebook. And then you have YouTube. Later came Twitter. And then everything else from there. salute way back. Thanks for tuning in. I went to school for broadcast journalism. Went into my field and got a lot of for the experience, for the opportunity, a lot of interviews and things headed in the direction of what I went to school for, prepared for, and what I'll say is, gratefully, I actually achieved a lot of the things that I wanted to achieve, with exception to the money. Baby, the money. Where the fuck was the money? Bruh. I applied to everything after college. Everything. And I went into it with the mindset of, I know that this journey has never been easy in anyone's story. But let's go for the ride. And I did just that. Salute, welcome, and thanks for tuning in. Hi, how are you? Locks of royalty. Just saying locks in your name just makes me want to bring mine out right quick, because I'm in the process of I just separated them yesterday. They were Congo freeform for the past year, and I feel my scalp. I can feel my scalp again. Y'all, my locks dropped 3-4 inches when I separated yesterday. So I'm talking, and that's a different discussion, but it's on topic. We're talking about Men's Health Awareness Month. I asked the essential question, where can Black men go? Let me go back to the question. Where can a Black man go to just be, exist, and serve life's purpose without being viewed as and treated as a threat or a problem? You said it's Dior. Hey, Dior from Choir? Or I only know one Dior other than Christian Dior, and I don't know Christian Dior personally. But where can a Black man go to just be and to not be a problem? What's up? How are you? What I'll say is I'll continue to go live. If I say anything at any point that prompts you to want to join the chat, just know that you are welcome, invited, and I would be excited to exchange with you. And this is about redemption. And if you are Dior that I know from church, shout outs to the collective, the Dietrich Haddon. I'm sorry, I'm having a moment. God bless them. God bless y'all. Hey, actually right here on the list, where can we go? I say barbershop, church, drum circle, studio, gym, nature, outdoors. So church is on there. Hi. So that was my choir family. I am presently physically in DC right now, Maryland. That's my hometown. Men's Health will be very transparent. I am just in a season of transition. And when you're in a season of transition like this, there's so many elements to it. Let's get this keyboard back going, my heaven's sake. Hill City Collective. I had a brain moment. Excuse me, guys. There was a season when I was like working a job and got injured on the job, and a bunch of things happened. And then I saw a post for the collective to join a choir from Mr. Dietrich Haddon himself. I could just speak on topic because you're here. You're who is present right now. That was, you don't want to say things like a life-changing experience, because something I actually wrote in my journal last night is men's health awareness. So I'm just transparently flowing right now. I wrote this. It's really too deep to share, but whatever. I said, in this moment, my feeling is that it's too horrible to write or say. I'll say I've been patient. I've applied for and worked for jobs. If it takes all that, I don't want to be here anymore. And by here, I mean Earth. By saying I don't want to be here on Earth anymore does not mean, implicate, or imply that I am suicidal or want to commit suicide or have attempted suicide. I have never attempted suicide. What I mean by not wanting to be here anymore is Earth has gotten too expensive. Gas, when I left Los Angeles, was over $6 a gallon for regular. I was homeless for I was homeless. And while I was homeless, the whole time that I was in the choir, I was homeless. The entire time. The entire time, from the very first performance rehearsal. And I used to come there so graciously. It was my only socialization at the time, meaning that, like, outside of coming to choir rehearsal, I wasn't having meaningful conversations with anyone, just passing people at the gym. LA culture, people don't speak. Black culture is trash for my standard and my experience out there. And so just having that outlet to just go and be around Black folk and to be around Black church, and not just like that praise and worship spirit. Hey, I get it. It's cool. Everybody needs to be inclusive. But when you come from where I come from DC, Maryland, went to HBCU, FAMU, and you understand a certain dimension of soul, soul, then soul, the genre of music, and then gospel, the genre of music. Praise and worship music and gospel are two different genres of music. And the light stuff up in, just trying to go to a diverse church where everybody's trying to take care of everybody. Sometimes my type of praise and worship, we missing out by us spreading thin, trying to please everybody else. So Hill City was cool to find Black, baby, Black. It was just, I was so happy to come all the way down to Torrance at that time. But I was coming from Burbank. I was working in Burbank. I'm bringing this conversation up for a lot of reasons, but what is happening right now is self-healing, self-therapy. It's not self because it's including God, it's involving God, but the self-work that we have to do on our end is what I'm doing on mine. And a part of that was surrendering to Los Angeles. Right now, I have a storage full of things, full of instruments. My last job there was as a music teacher. I actually got that job while in the choir, and times were so hard that one day I came to choir rehearsal, and I came to choir rehearsal to have that outlet to just, what did I say? Where can a black man go to be? Just be, exist, and serve life's purpose without being viewed and treated as a threat or problem. And because I don't want to withhold this information, if somebody just needed a quick something and they didn't know, I wrote barbershop, church, drum circle for me, studio, gym, nature, or just outside, which could be a city. But I wanted to separate that from nature. Nature and city are just two different experiences. And right now, I have random the front row of my hair done and the rest of it separated. Multitasking, multitasking, multitasking. Multitasking, because that's a part of men's health awareness right now. Being overwhelmed, having a million and one tasks to do, having to be provider, protector, boom, boom, boom in a relationship, having to have your stuff together, your health, your resume, your plan, having everything figured out, and then the cost of inflation. And then if you're trying to live a certain type of life, you are the provider and protector, not only for yourself, but for a family. And multiply the $6 gallon inflation times 4. Any dude, normal dude who just want to have a normal, simple, small family of like 2 kids, that's them times 4. Like, you paying that times 4. The pressure is on us. Like, and so right now, Earth is too expensive. Earth is too expensive. I am like, can we go out of space? Like, I get those concepts now. I wrote that in my journal. I was like, God, they have just like destroyed everything. You created a perfect life machine, just self-running, well-oiled machine, and humans have destroyed it to the point to where someone like myself who could just like go down the list of talent, missionary work. I said I was a music teacher. I'm going to go in detail about that. But I wrote in here, I was like, yo, I've worked a lot of jobs. I've applied for a lot of jobs. But what I'm going to say right now is, God, like, what's up? Like, there are other stories. There are people who have other experiences. The more we talk and have social media and you hear people, I see that I'm not alone, but spiritual warfare is real. And learning that, there's different types of people, there's different types of spirits, spiritual warfare. I'm going to be honest. I have even questioned, like, it's one of those complex things like, God, I want to enter the chat and have an honest conversation with you. I don't want to offend you by giving power to something, but I got to ask. And I said, God, is this you? Or is this the enemy or the adversary? If it's you, please make it clear to me so I know to surrender and receive the lesson and go through the process. But if in any event this is the enemy, I need to know so that I can apply defense. But I can't go out empty-handed. I cannot go out into the world defenseless anymore. There's so much going on. These are just, we're going to talk about cliches, terms of spiritual warfare right now. So I've heard of gang stalking. I've heard of, what do they call it? Monitoring spirits. These are like, just like terms that have been floating around. I have questioned, am I cursed? I have questioned, God, is this a curse? Is this a hex? Is this a spell? Did somebody put a root on me? Straight up. Now look, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I'm like, God, I've been said that. I've been believed that. More than a mustard seed of faith. No weapon formed against me shall prosper does not say that there won't be spiritual attacks. It just says they won't prosper. So for that, in this moment, the fact that I can speak and play these keys, nothing has prospered because I am alive. I said, God, because I'm like, please let me be. And I can tie in Hill City and I can tie in my most recent job. My most recent job was teaching music at a music conservatory. And I have to bring in Hill City because to get into that job, you had to do all kinds of just things from like, the little test that cost, and I didn't have the money at the time. So just to even get into the job required money. And I came to that choir rehearsal that time, so overwhelmed. And all I had to do was show up. My spirit and God did the rest. I didn't want to be that heavy, and I isolate a lot to not transfer my heaviness onto others. I went to choir rehearsal probably just like this. But the music and God and the spirit and the camaraderie just flowed and did its thing. And I just went to choir rehearsal. I participated. I probably cried. I didn't make any announcements. I just left. But I was grateful for the opportunity to just get to be there. I got a message from one of the admins of the church to just check on me. And I bring that up to say, I'm like, yo, people see me every day and don't see me. People look me in my face every day and don't see me. People look me every day and don't speak back, even if I speak. So it was one of the first times, and that's weird to say when you go to a place like Hollywood and, your work is in front of the camera, but it was one of the first times as a human being I felt seen. And not a threat, not a problem. I told them what was happening and that I had just gotten a job and I was just trying to get into the groove with it. And they sent me a donation. They did an offering. And that literally was how I got what I needed done for that week to just get the job. Now, I'm going to tell the story of Jonah really quick. For those who don't know, Jonah, or who just need a refresher on the details. Jonah, character in the Bible, real quick. God sent him on an assignment. Prophet. Jonah's a prophet. God sent him on an assignment to go to a place called Nineveh. Nineveh essentially would be the hood, the ghetto. Jonah, who I'm not mad at, who I actually low-key like and identify with a little bit. Jonah was bougie. Jonah was like, Nineveh? Bruh, I just got these Mary J. Blige Las Vegas residency tickets, which I still want, by the way. I'm headed to Vegas. Now, I could look up that detail. What was the actual place? It's like, it starts with an A, I think. Where was Jonah headed? Where was Jonah headed before Nineveh? It was like Akbar, Tarshish, Tars, Tarshish. Okay, he was headed there. Long story short, God had an assignment and a plan for Jonah. Jonah wasn't feeling it. He went where he wanted to go anyway. He boarded a ship. On that ship, some stuff went down. They threw him overboard into the ocean. God sent a storm. He went overboard in the ocean. Big fish or whale, but big fish swallowed him up and redirected his path back to where he was supposed to go. Where he was supposed to go was Nineveh. And long story short, that's that. He went where he was supposed to go and finished off his tasks. Before moving to Hollywood, I was a music and art teacher in DC. And I battled the school system. I was like, I probably wouldn't have even went to Hollywood had the school system just left me alone. But I did my thing. I Sister Mary Clarence that joint up. I will say that. There's definitely a gift there. What I will also say is my check was supposed to be $1,900 pre-tax, salary of like 50 to 55 somewhere. He said the men threw him overboard because they knew the storm had to do with him. Salute, Dior. And thank you for that detail. I don't know everything. Yes. So it's like things that I want to say and then details I don't want to miss as well. But what I'm trying to say is that the attacks and the gang stalking, I was working in DC public schools and was able to experience and see the monster, the beast, the matrix. And I was under attack as a black man, as a teacher, just fulfilling my purpose. I had a drum line. I had art club. I worked full-time overtime. And my checks after taxes, deductions, union fees was $1,100 every 2 weeks, which is about what, $550 a week? You can do that busing in a restaurant. And so I did. I went to LA because you're never good enough in that system as a black man, especially if you're effective. They come for everything. They come for your everything. Your daily piece. They come for your evaluation records. Nothing has to be real. Everything is about the game, slavery, submission. That's where it gets spiritual and tricky, though, because you're like, who am I serving? Am I serving God? Do you want me to do this Nineveh thing and impact, or you want me to do this other kind of thing? Within this whole realm is the discussion of like impact, reaching students, ministry, missionary work, access. It makes me think of Moses and Exodus. It makes me think of like, really let my people go, let my kingdom go. You know, young black men seeing how we're targeted, watching the system happen, trying to make a difference and realizing you're fighting a battle of like some people who are really some devil worshipers. So when I say, have I been cursed? I'm like, some of it was right there just in the school trying to do good. And so I find myself in very humbling survival states, but while doing what I would think would be God's work. And so the attacks, I bring that up to say Men's Health Awareness a month, and you're trying to live straight and narrow and live a life and provide for yourself. But if they can always come after your money and your livelihood and then have you out here looking like a scrub, unable to provide for a woman or a wife, that's a form of bondage right there. That's a pressure that dudes probably feel. I know I'm a catch. I know I'm a lot of amazing things. But I've been watching this Pop the Balloon Challenge thing online. I'm like, damn, I wouldn't even go on that joint. Like I probably make it past just like the first couple of seconds off first impressions, and then soon as I start talking about anything related to finances, like just pop, 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 pop. Um, because you got to be a provider. Again? So that was teaching in DC. In LA, I didn't know that this job at Hill City, you know, just that whole boom. I didn't know that the music conservatory, maybe it was a detail that I overlooked. Maybe I didn't know that all of the students that I would be teaching would be special needs, primarily autistic. And I was introduced to the word neurodivergent. I didn't even know what that was. So it was one of them weird things where I'm like, God, okay, but I actually have sign language, like not just experience, but sign language is my second first language. I have two first languages, meaning deaf family. So same time, Apple, Apple, Apple. You're learning to spell Apple, you're learning to sign Apple, and then you're learning to look at a picture or actual apple and learn what an apple is. All of that happened at the same time. So, nonverbal communication, a lot of the special needs qualities that someone would need, I already possess and applied on the job, but freestyle in the spirit, not knowing that what was happening, but just meeting each individual student where they were. And as an art teacher in DC public schools, that's art and music is a required class. So you get the full load of students, special needs or general population anyway. Um, 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 um. So long story short, here I am teaching music again, back in the grind of things. After I said I would never enter another classroom again, like I would never teach again after my DC public school experience. Here I am back in Nineveh, and so August, boom, boom, great things are happening. I'm still, it's so define homeless. To God the glory. The transition went from just sleeping in my car to this detail. I just, I got a music studio. You're not supposed to live in it. I got through the winter. And then one day, I went to the emergency room, unable to walk, laid out on the street in Los Angeles, and people are just walking past me. One lady stopped to ask, am I okay? Black lady who was rushing to work. She didn't have the time, but at least she stopped And here I am again. And I'm in Nineveh. Oh my God, what's up? Like, I'm in Nineveh. I'm doing what you said do, right? That job, first off, I was in the emergency room for 3 days. The job told me that I did not have any sick or medical leave because I hadn't worked there long enough. When I got out, I was unable to go straight back to work. And it all starts happening again. Salute, welcome, and thanks for tuning in. So it was back to square one. At this point, the studio that I had, I do not have the income for any further. I was just trying to complete the school year, have a sense of accomplishment, and was literally stopped dead in my tracks and shown who I was working for, but still grateful for the opportunity to serve, to work through the winter, and to shine, make whatever impact that I did make. But my life and my health and my God first. It's now June. That was March. So March, April, May, June. That's 3 months. I've only been here for about 2 weeks. So that means, you know, I went probably another 2 months. May, June. When did I get out of the studio? May 1st? I don't know. But I know I went probably another month homeless at least. And then there are cool parts of the story in between on the survival tip that make the story still God infused. That's because I have just like an adventurous, can do, faith filled spirit. But eventually, I stopped and said, okay, God, get me out of here. I took to social media and just shared what was happening. A few donations were sent in, I got a plane ticket one way to DC, and that's where I am now. And I have all of my things still in storage, my instruments in Los Angeles, my car. And I'm currently practicing detachment, just thinking of all that weight and stuff that was holding me down, holding me back in terms of like pigeonholing me in Los Angeles, like I was stuck there. But where do I go? Where can you really go? Even here, nothing is free. And Men's Health Awareness Month, bullet point. I am now 38 years of age. To start over and start fresh. Yes, God can work it out, and all you do need is another source of income to just get the ball rolling again. But this time, I wanted to stop and address the spiritual warfare and the attacks of it all. To really self reflect and to make sure. That's also why I never up and rushed anywhere. I was like, well, you can take drama and recycle repetitive patterns with you anywhere. You know, you can, um, I didn't want that. So I was like, let's resolve and heal and have a game plan and figure this thing out. Game plan, just for the record, I did start a program going back to school, and I did the first day online class. I took my setup to the beach and was just going to try to like learn and just find my way. But that was not a conducive setup for consistency. The weather, just got dark quick, windy and cold, and then like the car wasn't a good situation. So it was just complex. So when I surrendered to coming back here home to DC, I was just like, you know, a place where I can focus, hear, write, think, be a student. Um, but nothing is free. OTR, on the run tour, for real. Um, right now, I'm like, God, I'm, I am still going through doctor's appointments and follow ups from that initial emergency room visit. And I'm experiencing health things. Um, Very humbling experience. I have more than a mustard seed of faith. It's very enlightening. It's definitely a perspective that I haven't had to really have before. I've been healthy for most of my life. And so just now that anything at all is on the table is a whole new chapter for me. So I could be talking all day, but focusing back on the subject of Men's Health Awareness Month, we're getting close to an hour now, so that I think is a good cutoff. What I'll say is, first, God, I love you, thank you, and trust you. I do be wondering what you be doing sometimes, and wondering why You know, am I doing this to myself? It's just like self abuse, self depreciating, route and path that I took off of the path to Nineveh somewhere to Tarshish. What's the deal? Where will you have me go? What do you want me to do? I have skills that range from, like I said, so music, hair, barber stylist, art, teaching, all of that's my department. God, what do you want me to do? Am I completely out of my field and your will for my life? Random, random on my way out the door for today. Before all of this stuff, I created an Amazon storefront just off of a concept that I'm going to go and elaborate in detail in further future posts. Today is about daily steps, me taking the time to not procrastinate at all and to just do this live stream today and to do another one tomorrow and to just pick up the ball and go. What I really want, God, Tarshish, I want to live stream. I want to survive, generate income off of what I have been pursuing my whole life, which was broadcasting, doing my show. Now they call it podcasting, social media content creation, whatever it is. It's a digital media file with some audio visuals at the end of the day, regardless of how y'all package it, and a soul speaking, a mind, and that would be me, with some money at the end of it, income. Okay, so I got to serve some purpose. So that's sort of why I took this opportunity today to just go ahead and be transparent, because I'm 38 now. We focusing. We not out here hanging out. Like Impact. It's Men's Health Awareness Month. That's the subject. That's the topic for the day. If you want to be a supporter of this, my Cash App is $, the letter U, the letter R, live podcast. You Are Live podcast. That's not a handout. That is supporting a podcast. That's supporting a project. That's supporting a movement. That is supporting an artist. And that artist would be me. And my missionary work would be, I would love to give the gift of music to someone who has either never experienced it or needed revived in their life. Meaning you started with the musical instrument like I did in 5th grade. and sat it down on hiatus for however long and realized that there's a hole and a missing piece in your life. This right here is my 5th grade horn. I have not warmed up for the day. That's my warm up. All right. Not only did I rekindle my relationship and love with my saxophone, I attended drum circles between the years of 2015 and, let's see. I gotta change the camera angle for this one. I don't know. You're gonna hear. You won't really be able to see for this one, but I'll keep it brief. I attended drum circle, started 2015 to present, but 3 years ago, around 2023, I made a decision that I was ready to move on to drum set and not just hand drums. That was fun. So, drums, keys, horn, and if I may, really quick, just say, for this cause right now, all of this is relevant. Right now, pro sound on these live streams, I'll just say, is my objective. So today, a form of procrastination that I tackled was starting within the imperfection or having not reached the total goal yet. Meaning, I want this to sound like pro sound to you right now, but right now I'm playing acoustically on just in device microphone inputs. Just boom. As I set this intentional focus, how is that possible? Okay, so I'm gonna have to rewire that. This story right here what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Oh, y'all can't even see me over here. So, busybody, I talked about multitasking at the beginning. First off, a part of my art therapy, music therapy, self-healing journey was I picked up a boom. I talked all around this today and I'm just getting to it. Boom. 2023. This is where it gets good. I kept hearing about this app called BetterHelp. It is a therapy app where you can have a therapist virtually. I did it out of pocket for a month. It was like 300 something. And by the end of it, I said, it's not that I don't see the value of therapy. For myself as an artist and for $300, I can go get me an instrument for that. So I was already going to drum circles, but I think that was when I got my soprano saxophone. My tenor saxophone was here in DC. And so I started bringing my additional instruments to the drum circle. I definitely still brought my hand drum first to like get into the groove, but after about an hour, I would move on to other things. So one of the first things I got, like I said, was soprano saxophone. I had gotten a trombone that I eventually returned, but I got another trombone later. The story of the trombone and the bass are that I don't know any of the notes on trombone or bass. So I completely play by ear and freestyle. Now, another part is that through this art therapy, music therapy experience, I developed sentimental attachments to my instruments. They became my friends. They became my outlets, um, my source of feedback, excitement. And I developed a family and a band. And that family is a one-man band. It's myself, my instruments, and God. And I didn't mean to say that in that necessary particular order. Like God isn't last in it; He's first in it. But a quick story about this right here and my detachment. When I got here, for me to be at peace leaving my other instruments in Los Angeles, I had to replenish them. I got all used stuff, here just to get back started. God, what will you have me do with these? Do you want me to go back into teaching? Do you want me to create, content? Where to from here? Do you want me to go back to hair? Do you want me to do all of it? Do you want me to open the studio here? Do you want me in this country? Do you want me to go out of state? I look at it like that. I'm like, God, like you don't have to do the whole punishing thing. We don't have to do all the distraughtness. And I'm not that stubborn. Like, sure, if left to my own devices, I have things that I prefer to do, ways that I prefer to spend my time. But I'm not gonna like completely, Jonah you out and just go in the opposite direction. Sure, I went to Hollywood, which may have been my Tarshish instead of your Nineveh, but like I was in your Nineveh in DC public schools, and mm-mm. The protection that you did, you kept me alive, but how do I phrase this the right way? You allowed them to completely come from my livelihood. What was I supposed to do? I showed up for work every day, overtime, underpaid. This time, teaching at the music conservatory. I was there, locked in, focused to finish the school year. Devil cape straight from my health. Without, and that is the other part, the deception. Getting up, going to work every day, overtime, underpaid, and to realize who you're working for. Who is Massa? The one sitting there looking at you, and I'm going to gyms, showering, sleeping in cars overnight to get up and come and teach. Your neurodivergent students that you didn't even tell me about on the way in the door. Give them my all. And I can't go to the emergency room for 3 days with any medical compensation. Just for my day off. For any reason. So the back and forth legal battle, I haven't even like the time that goes into that, the money that goes into that. I'm like, I'll look for another job, I'll look for another opportunity. But at this present moment, I'm not back fully recovered. The things that are on the table right now, I'm going through the process and the tests and the lab work and all of that. But back to the bass. I am so attached to my instruments and my bass in LA that this almost feels like cheating to be touching another bass because I only know one bass, and it's my therapy instrument. This one, as soon as I got it, this string broke. So I've been playing with 3 strings since, and whatever. Another thing is I play with a pick on West Coast with that bass. The strings are a lot tighter And I never got really into the whole tuning thing. I just been playing it all by ear. But this one, these were a lot looser, and so I was able to pluck and felt a difference, and it's just a different experience. So for trombone and like bass, I can't teach at the moment someone those instruments, but what I could do is music therapy, and it's about more so the exercise, the expression, the opportunity to go and release, and also to go and explore and to figure out is such a thing in a meditation in itself. So I just want to say, if I piece everything together, I said a lot on this whole thing. I said multitasking at the beginning. I said 8 arms. I talked about my mom and my grandma. Multitasking and how I picked that up from them. Um, left mono. I also mentioned the. What did I mention? I mentioned the Amazon storefront. I have a looper. That looper has a story, but that looper is going to give me an opportunity to have the support that I need of a full band as a one-man band. And those sessions are going to get fun and exciting throughout this week. Um, so that device I'm going to highlight and put in my Amazon storefront and be intentional because I do have a lot of talent. I do have a lot of great ideas and things in place. And I just need to operate. I need to operate and apply and just ask God for his favor, his protection, his guidance, provision. And I pray that you see it through. Help me to see it through because I have it. I know I have it. And I know I'm great at it all. Um, Spiritually, without God's help, there's just no point. So that's why I, in this moment, seek your counsel, God. Seek your approval, seek your like plan and will, because like sure there's a million things that I can do, like to do. But what am I supposed to be doing? I want to be efficient and intentional about my energy expenditure, my ministry, and the whole thing. So at this time, it is 9:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got in a great spiritual workout. It's therapeutic. I talked. We got the podcast for the day done. And we can just call today acoustic. I played out loud. But we're going to get this pro sound together. Step by step, day by day, even better each time. Now I need to go get my crown together. I have like the first row sort of semi done, but I have a lot of work to do. Thank you for tuning in. You are live. Underground Remix Live, your number one radio source for live rhythm and news, classics and current events, music and information, jams and thoughts, which sometimes require a little participation and improvisation during our live jam sessions, broadcasted from right here at the station. I'm your master of ceremonies, Sherrod. Just for the record, I got to go ahead and introduce y'all to Mashi. Mashi, baby. Mashi, baby, you know me. Mashi is my artistic, you could say alias or persona for this next season and chapter. Mashi. and we'll get into those details in future podcasts and sessions. Please come back. I shared a lot today, but again, it's Men's Health Awareness Month. And instead of calling a friend and being all heavy, releasing cathartic dumps on them, and paying a bunch for therapy, you know what? Mashi, baby, this is my content. Now, Patreon, I have it, but I'm not active with it. So things like that, step by step this week, it's one of them things where you're like, oh, you're supposed to have the show together. Like, no, the show is the process of getting the show together. And at the end, let's have a finale concert. In fact, I want to have a silent concert. That way, I know that I have achieved my goal with this soundboard process of producing pro quality audio and visuals for this live stream by myself. And the emphasis on by myself is sure, with a big budget, you can have a team, but I've been through so much in the past years that I'm like, just let me do this myself. And then if a budget comes, I can take the load off of myself, but I cannot rely and depend on anybody to get my stuff done when I need to get it done. So that's that. I can officially sign off. And the time is, I've been rolling for 127 minutes. So I was supposed to cut off at an hour, but an hour and a half, 90 minutes is not bad. Signing off. Thank you. Are there any instruments that I did not entertain today? The djembe is over there. The rototoms are over there. Maybe next time. Thanks for tuning in.